G'day and welcome to another episode of the SCP show. I'm Paige.
I'm Matt.
I'm David.
And we are here for round 15 and it's a very special round.
It is. It's a big round really for a certain St Kilda player.
It is the Josh Saunders appreciation round because there still was almost 10,000 people in the competition that still have Joshy Saunders
That's unfortunate for them.
in their side, and we say a hello to Josh Saunders, who apparently is a bit of a watcher of this show. We apologise for the shit canning. That's why you get your very own episode this week, so enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself. Speaking of enjoying myself, I did on the weekend.
Yeah, I know you did.
21-65 for me, so I was not the worst scorer of the round. How'd you do, Darren?
I enjoyed myself even more than you, Joyce. I scored 22-48 and had a bit of a detox. Went away with the gorgeous girlfriend Ashley sitting over there.
Oh, Jesus. How about a plug?
Have a plug. And I had a detox for 4 days. Didn't touch SuperCoach, so I'm back and refreshed. And look what happened.
Yeah.
Who's the lowest?
Woo! At least I'm not leading the race.
That's true.
Yeah.
What'd you score?
Oh, I had like 2,056. Not happy. Had to trade my way out of a donut and Goods out, Floston out, Stevie J out. A bunch of underperforming premiums, and Clisby came into the side for Thurlow, and well, that's about my weekend done.
Yeah. It's good to be the king again. Least amount of lowest scores.
Well, look, I had to, the last couple of weeks I've been the number one scorer, so I guess I had to give it up sooner rather than later, so enjoy yourself.
And what did I say? I promised that I was going to bounce back, and my team is full of premiums now. We'll get on to how many trades we got later, but I'm looking pretty good.
Pretty good.
If you don't get injuries, you're looking pretty good.
Bench cover, which I'll get into later. So that'll say.
Well, we're just going to move right into the talking point of the week, and you guys out there in the Twitter sphere and Facebook have said that Tom Rockliff is giving you the absolute irrits. So we've decided to talk about him. What have we got?
Didn't have a really good weekend. Scored in the 50s, I believe, on the weekend. 10 clangers, 44% disposal efficiency.
Ridiculous.
That is not good for SuperCoach.
Can we blame Michael Voss?
Yeah.
He's playing, I don't even know what position he's playing.
He's like a forward, yeah.
And then he ends up somewhere in defence, and then he rolls to the midfield. He's almost become a utility now.
Yeah, he's getting the Zorko treatment from the start of the year, which a lot of people got burnt by, truly.
Yeah.
And he hasn't scored over 100 in the past 6 weeks. So
6 weeks, and he's had him in the last 3 scores, 69, 90, 79 and 57. So talk about erratic scoring, that's just incredibly bad. And we've had a couple of people ask us the best options for trades for him, so we're going to roll through a few quickly. I mean, I'll throw one out to begin with. If you are looking for a second ruck, you do have that option to, if you've got Cox in your forward line, to switch Cox through to the forward line via Rockliff and then upgrade Rockliff for a ruck, if that's what you're after. But what else we got? There's a couple of players we want to talk about.
There's one player that I was looking at on the weekend, trading in, and ended up going for Nick Nat, but he's one to look for if you're looking to trade out Rockliff. He's Paddy Ryder.
Paddy Ryder, we spoke about this earlier.
He's priced at 482,200 with an average of 93.7, and he's got a break even of 95, so it is attainable for him. So he may go up in price. He's past 3, he scored 110, 101 and 98. And
numbers.
Last year he was scoring very solidly at 105, so that's
on par with last
that's good
year.
endorsement.
Yeah. And last year, but he was a bit of an erratic scorer last year.
Yeah.
But are we gonna?
A little bit erratic.
Can you trust him? Can you trust him?
With more ruck time, you can trust him, I think.
With Belchambers not there, I think we saw on the weekend that he was pretty much number 1 ruck and performed pretty well.
I like him when he's there. When I just can't do it because you don't know if Essendon are going to play Ryder, Belchambers, Danaher in the same side, and even then, I just think that when Belchambers is the second ruck, really means that Ryder is just put to the forward line and plays as a centre half forward, and he's got to rely on the feed from the midfielders to get the points that we need. So
rather than the consistency.
Exactly. So it just that gives me that worries me the most is that he will just be put back to the forward line when Belchambers comes back in. And then you've got obviously Nick Nat, Mince and Roughhead, those guys who have looked really good when rucking and playing forward because they have that time spent there.
I think with Belchambers, he's so out of favour. We saw he only just came back in the weekend, but was subbed out of the game, and I think he had limited impact with 9 hit-outs or something. So
which would have annoyed so many of us who were going to down trade in the forward line to get Joe Danaher, and he wasn't named.
Yes, hopefully he comes back this weekend. I don't know how he's on the
I think so.
VFL, but
who else we got?
Well, you were looking at a Sydney forward.
No, I was. We'll just throw it out there. Kurt Tippett. No, it sounds crazy, but really, there's a few things to take notice. I mean, he starts on the weekend with pretty good. 17 disposals, had 11 kicks, 13 contested possessions, 71% efficiency, which is fantastic. 5 tackles, 4 contested grabs, 9 hit outs, so he went through the ruck. And he had 2 inside 50s, 2 goals, 130 SuperCoach points. So he had a massive game. But at the same time, Mumford out of the side, Sam Reid out of the side, which meant that he was the main target up forward, and he had responsibility in the ruck with Mike Pike.
He even spent some time down back as well, I noticed, watching the game.
Yeah.
He went down there.
He had 5 rebound 50s.
relief. Yeah.
5 rebound 50s. So it sort of contradicts what Horst Longmire was saying, that they were just going to put him to full forward and let him play and then get his match fitness back.
Yeah.
Now he's playing all
Seems
over
like
the park.
well, he's had half a year to train purely for.
Well, that's it. But there's endurance
match
training
fitness.
off the ground, and then there's match
Match
fitness,
fitness,
and he hasn't missed a beat that game. So on that alone is where we bring up the next point. This is why he looks so tasty. That's a good word. Tasty.
Tasty. She can stick with that.
Now the next 4 games. Listen to me closely. Tasty. Melbourne, GWS, West Coast, and Richmond, and the next 4 games for the Swans. Subsequently, Tippett scores 90 SuperCoach points as an average against all 4 of those teams. The highest in all of those games have come well and truly over 127 points.
So what you're saying is
So
get around him.
I am thinking, I don't know if I can trust him personally. I don't need to trade Rockliff. I'm keeping with him because I just don't have the traits to suffice at the moment. Tippett is actually a pretty good option this week. I'm gonna throw it out there. Look, it's a gamble, and at this time of the year, it's good to get a point of difference and to roll the dice. Especially if you're looking to make a top 4 or a top 8, you have to make those moves now.
And he's on the bubble as well.
He is,
Playing his third
He's got a
game
break
this
even at 88 as well, so perfect time to get him in.
Yeah.
Had an average score of 90 odd, so.
My advice would be to stick with Rockliff, honestly.
I think so too. Yeah.
You've really got to cover yourself for injuries. It's shown that Steve Johnson got suspended, and Barlow got injured, and Matthew Boyd got injured, and Scott Selwood got injured.
Exactly, everyone's getting injured.
Happen to everyone.
Yeah.
But even then, they've got the Q clash this week.
Yeah.
So may as well hold on to them. We might have a bit of
a day out.
a good game against Gold Coast, who aren't to be taken lightly this year anyway. But
So unless you have like 10 plus trades left, which I would find hard to believe.
yeah, exactly.
You probably should keep him and really stick fat with the players that have been delivering for you. Honestly, he's had a bad month, but everyone does.
Brisbane have gone through a pretty rough patch anyway, so I think he'll come towards his best. Brisbane have a pretty good run home as well, so something to take note of as well, especially if you're heading to finals. May as well keep him. But that brings us to in-form defenders. Now I'm going to just kick us off here. Apologies to everyone out there who traded in Heath Shaw this week or had him. You and I traded him in this week. That is why you scored bad. Apologies. Get over it next week. Let's move on. Anyway, 563k, break even of 137 and an average score of 103. So he's still scoring well.
He is.
Plenty of upside. He's going to be a little bit cheaper in a few weeks given that high break even. But his previous scores lately have been 97, 147, 136 and 70. And the next 4 games for the Pies are Carlton, Adelaide, Gold Coast and GWS in that order. So, but I mean, for a bit of upside here anyway, for those of you who are looking to get Heath Shaw into your side, 70 that he scored on the weekend was the second lowest score of the year. You have to go back to round 2 against Hawthorn when he scored 60 odd. So,
it's not too bad.
Pretty good.
And he's got the next 2 games. Hopefully he can drop in price against Carlton and Adelaide, and just in time to have a blinder against Gold Coast and GWS.
Yeah, I do worry though with the Collingwood players, they might be given a bit of a rest against GWS.
Can they afford to do that?
I don't think so. I think
Finals
2013's on ice at the moment.
You're not all locked in the finals like Richmond are.
No, Jesus. But another one as well now, he's been spoken of at length this week for SuperCoach punters. Garrick Ibbotson. Now he's gone up this weekend. He's 512k, break even of 111, and an average score now of 103. So he is absolutely flying. And his last 3 scores have been 137, 98, and 103 on the weekend. He had 7 rebound 50s against Geelong, which is incredible. And he's the 3rd most expensive player now behind Goddard and Shaw and Gibbs respectively. So Goddard being the 4th one there. So he's really bumped up in the rankings. And although Daniel Pearce also had a good game for Fremantle on the weekend too, coming out of defence, but he played more of a midfield role. And with Duffield not going to play this week either, he's just going to, I think he's going to rack up a huge amount of ball against St Kilda, who in the first half against Richmond had a lot of forward entries.
Yeah.
So ball's there for him to win.
They tend to just hack it forward though,
They
so
do,
it's perfect.
which is fantastic because when you're talking about hacking the ball forward from lower teams, you're talking about the better defenders who can take intercept march and defence. Massive Supercoach points.
Yeah.
That's what you got to look at.
One thing that's frustrating watching Fremantle, Nick Subban looks so much like Garrick Ibbotson, so I'm like,
Control.
It's it's a really good pickup. If you listened 3 weeks ago, then you would have got him, and you would have got all those scores. I got on him.
Yeah.
You've had those last 3 scores. That's pretty good. Well, I'm trading him in this week. So.
I passed him up for Heppel, the seagull. So
The seagull?
the goal. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed.
Ryan Hargrave retired the mantle, and now Tyson Heppel's taking it.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
So
Another
another
player, Trent McKenzie, youngster from Gold Coast. He's priced at 477,500 with a break even of 89 and an average score of 96.8. So he's had a move to half back. I think he started forward, didn't he? The cannon, as he's called.
Yeah.
half forward, sort of bowling from 60.
Yeah, he was a flanker. to start off with.
Now they're using him as a rebounding halfback flanker. And he, on the weekend, had an unheard 100% efficiency.
It's ridiculous.
Amazing, which is what you want for your Supercoach.
And apparently, the Fantasy Freako tweeted that there hasn't been a player to have 100% efficiency that's had more than 15 disposals in a game in the entire history that the stats have been kept since 1999.
Really?
There you go.
Ridiculous.
Amazing.
So,
Impressive.
how good is that? And he had everybody had 11 or 12, 13 kicks or something like that.
10, I think.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, 10, sorry.
That's still pretty good.
And he also had 4 marks in defence, 3 of which were contested, which of course is going to boost up his scores. Previous scores, he had 114, 108 and 93.
Yeah.
So he's one to get on, I
He's
think.
really crept up the
And
cannon.
Gold Coast have a good run as well coming home. I think they've got the easiest
They
run.
have the
of all.
easiest run home. We spoke about that last week and we'll speak about it again next episode.
Yeah.
But they've got a sensational run.
Yeah.
And he's at a good price as well,
The
477.
buzzword this week. Tasty.
Tasty.
It's not just the Tippett.
Finger licking good.
Oh, God.
But he's at a good price though, 477,500. If you can't afford the likes of Ibbotson and Shaw, go for him.
A
He's
great
definitely-
point of difference as well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I
very
really
good.
like him.
Another player is Pierce Hanley. He's dropped off in recent weeks. He's now priced at 415,200 with a break even of 125, and he's averaging 96.8.
Still a good average for someone who seems like he hasn't done much for it
Yeah,
recently.
I think he's been found out in the past few weeks. He's been tagged by opposition sides, and his scores have suffered because of that. But he's ridiculously cheap, so he'd be one to look at. Actually, he's one that I've got on myself.
Well, he's one
last
I'm
week.
bringing in this week. I'm going to throw
Yeah.
that there.
He's dropped a lot, 150k I think.
Yeah,
he's gone down in price.
ridiculous.
So now's
Yeah.
the time to pick him up.
Yeah, and his next 3 games, he's got Gold Coast, North, and Melbourne as well. So not too bad.
Not a bad run.
Yeah, that's actually quite
The
good.
Q
And
clash.
That's probably why I'm bringing him in this week.
Yeah, Q clash.
I'm
he,
backing him
might
in to
smash out.
turn his film to turn his film around. Turn his form around.
Yeah. And 2 more, Hamish Hartlett, he's actually been a bit more consistent in recent times.
Yeah.
He used to be 140 or 30,
Yeah.
But now he's getting, 80s, 90s every week, and it's, pretty refreshing to see. Priced at 427,700, break even of 86 and an average score of 90. So if you wanted to get in a point of difference player, Porter playing some very good football lately.
Nah.
Smashing your lot on the weekend. And
It's funny because
Well, they beat Sydney before us, whatever.
your Supercoach team is reflecting the form of your own team.
it is.
Yeah, that's
is
probably a good
hilarious.
assessment, actually.
Mm.
Well done, David. That's fantastic.
But his scoring, he hasn't gotten that amazing scoring, like he hasn't got over 100 in the past 2 months, but he is always around
2
that,
months?
Yeah, it's always around that 80, 90 mark, so it's more consistent, which is what we've always been wanting from Hartlett.
This is true.
And yeah, he's still cheap, pick him up now if you want, but I would go with Hanley personally.
Yep, Hanley, bigger ceiling, I think, too.
And one last option, Bob Murphy,
Bobby.
504, 500, break even of 82, average score 98.2. He's kind of flown under the radar.
He is, when we had a look at this run sheet earlier, I saw Bob Murphy's name down here. What the hell is going on? Because I didn't pick him to be a Supercoach person this year.
Nope.
And my God, he deserves to be there. What
Yeah.
else have you got on him?
Past 5 games, 97, 97, 121, 92, 133. That is ridiculous from Big Bob Murphy. The average of 115 in the past 3 games. So if you're looking for a point of difference...
How much is he?
Just over 500, so...
Wow.
I've actually got him in my draft team, and I remember when I was selecting as one of my last picks, and I was thinking, do I go for Bob Murphy? Yeah, I'll go for him. So I just got him because there was like no one else.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that
it's
is
actually
great.
good, yeah. Diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
you call it.
And you've got, like, with the trades that you're making, you've got Vlosten and Goods who didn't play on the weekend.
Yep.
Goods, will he come back from his wrist injury?
Well, I think they're 50-50 at the moment. I would say he'd be back. They won't risk him anyway, but he's been so important. But I would say that last week they held him over given they were playing Melbourne. That didn't really turn out for them. Not to say that he would be the difference, but...
And they're playing GWS
They're playing GWS this week, so which brings me to my next point. I don't know if they're going to play him against the Giants. So if he's not named, I'd be flicking him straight away.
Yeah.
I am this week. I'm offloading both Vlosten and Goods. It might be a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. We've all been scared into trading them now because they scored low and now they're injured and now we're like, oh, what are they going to do? And
as I said a couple of weeks ago, I think with those two, I've actually kept both of them because in rotation, one will be on the bench for me as all year cover, and the other one on the field. So I reckon might be worthwhile if you can afford it to keep them. But if not, one is Mitch Clisby, who you
I traded him on the weekend and I'll take this score of 60. Whatever.
From a rookie. So
he scored 73 the week previous, 60 this week, so it's round par what he's gotten, but for a downgrade option, and now he's that mature age player who's running out games well. He did some really good things in the dying moments then on Saturday night. Saturday night. So I just think that he's going to, along with Dean Turlick there in the back line, I think those two are really cemented their spots. And he'll play out the rest of the year. So great coverage there.
And Vlosten's set to drop in price about 25k. He's got a break even of 130ish, I believe. And Matthew Arnott, who came in as a late in for Nick Vlosten, actually played quite well on the weekend. He did his role basically, leading tackles at Richmond, quite good disposal efficiency, and 32 pressure acts.
Wow.
Matthew Arnott,
so do you think he's going to keep his spot on the side in the interim? Long term, maybe not so much, but...
Matthew Arnott won't in the long term, I don't think. It's really...
You'd have to play him off the back of that. He'd be very stiff to miss out, considering White started the sub.
Yeah, he's the super sub, that White, lately. It's really Tuck and Vlosten that are the two that could come in. Tuck had a very good game in the VFL against Geelong. Unfortunately, Coburg lost, but...
Again.
Yeah. But those are the two that would really make way, White and Arnott, for Vlosten and Tuck if they were to go out, but it's really tough to do that on the back of a thrashing.
Well, if he's got that injury and it's the shin, so I think he's going to be 50-50 as well. Fitness test, he sort of got through it, but then didn't train the next day to back up, and that's when we got that tip-off, that fantastic tip-off from an unnamed Richmond player, which we won't name.
Good on your unnamed Richmond player.
Who told us, he gave us a hot tip-off last week that he would not play before it was actually announced that he would, so that was pretty good.
Sounds as though he trained and then pulled up sore, so might need another week off.
And Thurlow as well. Thurlow, he had his, he did his cheekbone, I think, in the VFL as an injury, so if you want to trade out Thurlow...
Yeah, well, I did. That's the thing. I traded him out, took the money for Clisby. That was fantastic. But I just reckon that Goods and Vlosten now a lot of, for me personally, my team was, my three key defenders were Goddard, Gibbs and Birchall. And I was playing Vlosten and Goods as my next two key defenders with Staker as my defensive sixth player. Now that Goods and Vlosten... question marks. Now I'm thinking, it's time to get rid of him. I don't trust him. Business end of the year.
You really need people that are reliable bench cover, like our good mate Josh Saunders.
We love you, Josh.
Another one in the back line that you can really look at there. Really, that's about it for the defenders this week.
And next up, we've got the segment we just slid in this week is the Q&A.
Yes.
Q&A, and first cab off the rank is the question: how many trades do we each have?
Start us off.
Probably is this from lowest to highest? I've got 3 trades left.
3 trades. And what round are we in? Round 15?
15.
How many rounds are there in this season?
But I know that, but I'm factoring in that I've got solid bench cover for the entire season, so all the rest of it.
Alright.
I've got in the defence, I've got Staker and Thurlow, he's just injured himself, but Staker. In the midfield, Tom Mitchell and Kyle Martin.
Okay, good.
In the rucks, Blitzars. Not going to count Curry. Forwards,
I've got Need
and Danaher.
Okay, so you've got good coverage.
Yeah.
Just cover.
So that's what I'm hanging my hat on. Despite the fact I've only got 3, I would have had 4, but I had to trade out Birchall because long-term injury. So
I myself, now heading into this round, I have 9. I have 9 trades left. That'll be 7 this week because I'm going Goods and Floston to Hanley and Ibo. So 7 for me.
I've got 6. I'm not doing any trades this week. Like Damon, my cover's pretty good. Backline especially with Josh Saunders there. Good on you, mate. And Carl Martin and Tom Mitchell are doing really well in midfield. So, and he had to cover for me actually, Tom Mitchell, on the weekend for Barlow, and he scored a 99, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
Good on you.
What about, okay, with only 5 games and left until we play SuperCoach finals this year, how many trades, take away what we've got, how many trades would you recommend people out there to have and running into finals? Would you say, I mean, because last year there was, I would say, a par of 6 was the run.
So how many weeks does the finals run over? Is it
4 weeks?
I personally go with trying to say, well, it's not going to work this year because I've only got 3 left, but unless I keep the 3 up until the finals, is to have 1 per week.
Yep.
Over those 4 weeks.
4.
Yeah, so 4 in total to cover resting players and any major injuries. But again, hopefully you've got enough cover on the bench like I've tried to do, so that'll cover you.
How about you, Paige?
I would probably say I'm aiming myself for 4, so it'd be about the same thing.
Yep.
But even though I've got to have a couple of upgrades, I think I'll be with 7 trades left. I know it sounds obvious, it's more than what you guys have at the moment, but I'm sort of worried about running into finals because my bench cover, which is the next question we're rolling into, is how solid and how important is it to have good bench cover? My bench cover is probably 50-50.
Yeah.
So in my forward line, I've got Ben Kennedy and I've still got Tom Lee there. In my rucks, I've got Blitzarves and I've got Curry. My mids, I've got Joshy Saunders and and Tom Mitchell. And in defence, I've got Clisby and Doherty. So it's probably not the quality. I don't have that luxury of having a Goods or a Floston that's going to be my bench player to roll in and off as required. I'm setting myself for 4.
Yeah.
4 would be fantastic. 3 is what I'm expecting to have heading into finals.
Yeah, 4 or 5 are really the number that you want.
Yeah.
Just because some teams might do something really weird, like I think Fremantle did it against Hawthorn a few years ago when Fremantle had to go play in Tasmania and they rested about 10 players. And so you have to be ready to do 2 trades in 1 week if that's the case.
Exactly.
If one team decides to do something.
And
crazy.
even then, if you find yourself outside the 8 or just outside the 4 and you need a wing to get into either of those positions, it's now or never. You're going to have to use trades. You're going to have to find out where you can strengthen your side to get into finals to make that run home.
And there could be unforeseen stumbling blocks, I suppose you could call it, like Dane Swan getting out in the piss and being suspended. So that sort of stuff you can expect.
I mean, the real question is, should we be doing everything to ensure that we've got the salary cap so that we can make these trades happen? If, for example, I don't have Ablett, so to go to Ablett...
Rookie mistake.
Who's got the least losses, Paige?
I don't care. Still have Ablett.
In my opinion, it's not at the cost of the number of trades you've got. So if you've got 4 trades, just because you need a bit more salary cap, don't go down to Clisby. You need to save it for more sideways trades. Yeah,
definitely. I think so too. I'm very much agree with you. After the trades this week, I only have about 25k in my kitty. So I know I'm up for a down trade, but I've got that sort of luxury with 7 trades remaining. That next week or the week after, I'll have to downgrade somewhere so I can upgrade elsewhere.
And if your team's filled with premiums already and you're all set for the rest of the year, you can just sideways trade pretty much. So it's not really essential that you have like 100 or 200k.
Exactly.
Over the buy rounds, really, you could have been cashing up on these rookies like Tom Mitchell, who came off the bubble as he was going out.
Nathan Hrabat was there too. Kane Martin. Bloody hell. Kyle Martin. Another one, the importance of break-evens. A lot of people keep asking us, Nick Nat's got a massive break-even this week. Should I just wait to get him when he's a bit cheaper? Yes, but at the same time, these guys you're talking about are out-and-out premiums. They've been premiums and big scorers for a long period of time. at this point of time now, I mean, last week you traded in Pierce Hanley despite him having a huge break even.
Yep.
So that's a good way to justify the fact that really there's only so much you can pay.
I needed to though because I was facing a zero. So,
exactly,
but it's kind of forced. But yeah, I went against the mantra of watching the break even. And
I think there's only so much you can watch that stock market of break evens of players going up and down.
Yep.
You just have to bring in the good players.
I think it's more of a dream team thing to really watch the stock market because you've got those 2 trades every single week.
Yep. Whereas SuperCoach, you've only got 30.
Yeah.
So you have to. I reckon for me this week, looking at someone like Nick Nat Newey, if you've got that money up your sleeve and you need it, get a second ruck, or you need another midfielder. Dane Swan's still a great option because he's got, Carlton, Adelaide, GWS, and Gold Coast, who he scores really well against all 4, but has a massive break even this week. So that's what you have to take into account.
Yeah. And if you could trade in one player in any of the following areas of the ground, where would it be? So start with defence. For me, it would be cover for someone because I'm really happy with my premiums at the moment. So cover is what's going to win you finals.
If you had to recommend someone?
Staker. If I don't have Staker at the moment. Oh no, not Staker. Clisby probably. Clisby is probably going to get a game throughout the rest of the year.
Yep.
I can't justify spending a trade on him myself, but if you've got the trades available, definitely try and bring him in.
I'm all over Hanley. I think that he's turned his form around.
Yep. I'm into Ibbotson. If you're after a decent premium.
Is he into you as well?
No, I don't
Would you like me to surf a day?
No.
Are you sure?
He's a bit far away, isn't he?
Long distance. Yeah, but he's one to go
Phone
for,
calls,
I think.
Skype,
Yeah.
SCP show. He's a frequent watch.
Yeah, exactly.
The midfield, I've got Ken Corns for mine. He's quite a little bit in great form.
Yep.
He scored very well on the weekend as well as a few other unknowns like Matthew Broadbent and that sort of thing. So
He's come out of nowhere.
doing very well. How about you, Paige?
Yeah, Ryan Griffin. Seriously, he's the next best. He literally is scoring on par with Ablett numbers. Those are, for me, he's a lock next year in SuperCoach.
Yeah. For me, Pendles. Yeah, good player. Love him.
Pendlebury. I had to throw that in one, didn't
I was hoping you weren't going to say that, but you had to.
Stanton and Delivery.
Yeah, he's
I've
averaging
got some
126.
great ones.
Get into it.
And in the ruck, Nick Nat for me, even though he did spud it up on the weekend with a 73, he's way too good to let him pass. I think wait 1 week and then get him in.
Yeah, I really like Ryder, especially for a cheaper option at 480k. I think if you need that second ruck, Ryder looks really good.
Yep.
Higher end option would be Minson, averaging 112.
Yep. And forwards, Jimmy Bartell. If he wasn't going to get rested after coming back from the US with jet lag, I don't think he's going to be
That's
rested.
good point, great point. Now I'm going to say Tippett all over him.
I'm saying Jared Ruffhead. Yeah, just from
the shower man.
The shower man, yeah, a little quick.
We love that picture.
Yeah.
Might use it again.
Yeah, better.
Cool.
All right, it is that time of the week for the tweet of the week. I'm just trying to open the mood. We've got no colour here on the table after having 10 jumpers here last week. So.
Mine comes from Josh Casey. He's asking how long do I hold on to Brett Staker for until he stops increasing in value, or will that be too late to upgrade? Don't trade him, in my opinion. Yeah, hold on to him. Amazing job security. He's a mature player. He's not going to tire out unless he gets injured like he tends to.
Yes.
But I'm holding on to it.
Break even at 14 as well. Keeps going up in price.
Don't trade. You want?
Leave him. I have Mr. AFL. Now, he asks, should I trade Floston or Goods to Ablett? Which one? I'm going to go with Floston. He's got a price and he's going to drop more this week. I'd say Floston. But like you said before about Richmond, quite a possibility that might be a bit more movement throughout the side, and Goods will stay in the good opposite side. Definitely. So, yeah, go Floston.
And for me, I got one from Whiz King 990.
Woohoo!
He asks, who to get rid of for my backline, Birchall or Goods? Okay coverage on the bench. Should I go Goods to Hanley or Birchall to Hibbert? That's a no-brainer, I think. With Birchall being ruled out for the next 5 to 6 weeks, definitely get rid of him and give him the flick. And Hibbert is performing well, averaging 98 with a break-even 102. So you could possibly wait, but probably get on him now because he's priced at 463. So it's pretty decent.
Final word, captains, loophole options. What you got?
Saunders.
Just as a loophole?
As a loophole. He's good to use the loophole. I've got JPK or Dane Swan. Swan tends to score pretty well against.
I'm gonna go Swan, Pendlebury actually. Pendlebury is my vice captain against the Blues, and let's just hope
Yeah.
we don't see a poor score of 113 from Ablett.
Well, the Swans played Melbourne, so that's why I went with JPK, so he could really...
Yeah, it's a good
get
one.
up to it.
Yeah, I went with Swan as well. He's
Who's
scored.
playing Melbourne?
Duke Sydney.
It is Sydney.
Yeah.
Okay, you just said that. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm going for Swan. He's scored over 100 in 13 out of the last 16 games against Carlton. So
Yeah, no, he's got a very good consistent record, and Pendles tends to be the one that's got a bit more attention on him.
yeah,
Yep.
Roman's free.
All right,
That's
well
about
that wraps up the Josh Saunders appreciation round. Let's hope you don't cop it at train this week, pal. Good on you. I hope you get a game soon because I'd like a bit more of a price rise.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for SuperCoach Paige, round 15. I'm Paige. Go Pies.
Go Tigers.
Go Blues.
Why don't I do this?
Oh, this is much better.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow. So warm.